Did you know the average person consumes about 200 to 500 calories worth per day of sugar? That is about 1 pound per week that we could lose if we're in a deficit and we cut out 500 calories per day. So what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about sugar. We're going to talk about sugar addiction. We're going to talk about how do we cut back on sugar. And we're going to talk about everything sugar that we should know when it comes to our weight loss and overall health. Because ultimately, too much sugar is leading to many deaths, okay? It's leading to diabetes, leading to many heart issues, and much more. And especially in the Western world, sugar is a big thing, and sugar is in a lot of foods, and companies are sneaky. They hide it in your food. They change the names. We'll talk about that today too, and much more stuff. Okay, so just to let y'all know, if you see anything in my hands, I was using tanner, so that's why you see that. So let's dive straight into it though. So I want to lay out a few things here just to explain the importance behind why it's important that we got to cut back on sugar. Because if y'all are like me, like when I grew up, I wasn't really educated on food much, right? I wasn't educated on food at all. Just whatever my mom got me, I would eat pretty much. Like whatever we were fed, I'd eat. So it's like we had sugar on the table, and I would have Rice Krispies in the morning, and I would just fill the sugar into it because I never knew. I wasn't educated on it. I didn't know the importance of it. And sadly, a lot of us are like that until it's too late when we end up at the doctor and it's like you have diabetes, you have high cholesterol, blood pressure, whatever it may be. And it's like a shocking factor, like, oh crap, like I have to now take care of myself. So that's why I want to help you all out so you don't have to end up that way and you can take control of it now. And one of the best ways we can do that is taking control of our sugar, okay? So let's start out with a few facts that y'all should know. Did you know that sugar, ladies, you're going to want to hear this, especially if you're trying to get rid of that belly fat. Sugar actually causes larger fat deposits in our belly area and around our health as well. So it's like, a mental thing of wanting to look good, but also wanting to live as well. So that's one huge note to take a note on. The next thing is sugar is a massive, and as I just mentioned this, sugar is a massive reason for a lot of health issues nowadays. Diabetes, heart disease, many more. Okay, so next one. Now, it is a huge cause for excess weight gain. So for those who weren't watching at the start, sugar, the average person around the world consumes about 200 to 500 calories of their day-to-day calories from sugar alone. Okay, and as we all know by now, we should know that it takes about 500 calories to cut out per day to be in a deficit to lose about 1 pound per week. Okay, so 500 calories a day, we cut that out, we'll lose a pound a week. So we're consuming about pretty much all the 1 pound of sugar per week, like if we were to have excess calories on. So that's huge. There's about 48 calories per 1 tablespoon of sugar. Okay, for those who like to put that in their coffee. Now, next thing, let's see here. Yes, there's specific sugars as well that can actually trigger your brain chemicals to want to eat more food as well. So it's pretty crazy. Like, I know in a lot of fast food places, like they have certain things in food as well. I've seen this before, and it just makes you want to eat. And it's crazy, like how, they have such high calories, but it's so easy to eat, right? Like I can go to McDonald's and I can eat 4 junior chickens in a row and I won't even feel full. Like it's like, okay, well give me 4 more. Like it's crazy. So we gotta really watch out for this. So diving into this. Now, the steps here, how do we cut out some excess sugar? So how can we start today to cut out our sugar and to cut back on sugar? Now, remember, it's not like you have to go cold turkey or anything like that. We can talk about addictions here soon, but it's always good to make sure, you have a good balance, okay? It's all about health, having that balance, where you enjoy yourself, but also you're healthy and not backstabbing yourself at the end of the day. Okay, so cutting out the excess stuff, all right? So number 1 is that we can look at in our diets is juices, energy drinks, things that we're consuming liquid-wise on a daily basis. So maybe that's with your coffee. Maybe you like to get a Monster or a Red Bull. every day, or maybe you like to, add sweeteners to your drinks or whatever it may be. Honestly, you're better off to buy something like unsweetened tea and then put your own artificial or like a little bit of sweetener in it, because the odds are is that the amount that you're going to put in compared to the amount that they put in before you, you're going to put in way, way less. So if anything, you're better off to buy it no sugar, unsweetened, and then add your own little bit in if you're going to, okay? But that's the first step that we can take, is cutting out the liquid side of things and trying to stick with water as much as possible, okay? That'll save you a ton of calories because, for example, Red Bulls, Monster Energy, like they have a good amount of calories in them. So cutting those out, that's the first step that we can make, is in our drinks side of things, okay? Now, the next thing is sugar on the counter. So I was already talking about this, but I don't know about y'all, but when I was younger, we had this like little sugar container, and you just take out, you put a scoop into your coffee, put a scoop onto your pancakes, onto your cereal, whatever it may be. On my toast, I used to eat like cinnamon toast every morning with sugar, like brown sugar and cinnamon and whatnot growing up. So I had a lot of sugar in my diet growing up. And that's one of the things that we can cut out is, if we make it harder for ourselves to access things like this, then odds are just automatically we're not going to consume it as much, all right? So is cutting out the sugar that's on the counter and stuff like that, that's just in your day-to-day meals, okay? And I promise you too, like, at least myself personally, like when I cut out sugar out of my coffee and everything, like I don't have sugar in my coffee at all, I honestly didn't notice a difference whatsoever. Like some people will, like some people who really, really like sugar and stuff, they will, but I didn't notice any difference at all. I was literally just copying what everyone else did, was like, okay, sugar and then cream in my coffee. When I cut out sugar though, I was like, wow, like there's not even a difference. So moving on though is, so cutting out the sugar on the counter, just kind of removing that. Now, the next thing here is when you're baking. So when you're actually making food at home and you're following the recipes, try to cut back. Maybe use 1/3 of the actual recommended amount of sugar in there, because ultimately you're not really gonna taste the difference. I promise you. Try it out. Like make yourself some cookies up and follow the recipe. And if you just cut out a little bit of that sugar, like use 1/3 of it or so, and you'll find there's not really a crazy difference. Okay, so that's the next step that you can take there to getting your sugar cut back. Okay. Now, moving onward to the next one here is using alternatives. So yes, you can use alternative. Now, one of the main, most popular one, and it's like a natural one, is stevia, okay? So stevia is something that you can use as an alternative to sugar. So this is a much, much better option. Yeah, that's just something you can add in. So into your coffee or whatever it may be, and we can cut out the other processed and refined sugars. Okay, so the next thing, so this is really hard to do. Like I still struggle with this myself, and this is why we say like just try to eat whole foods, everybody, because these companies, it's so frustrating because you want them to care about your health, but then you learn about how they literally have like 50 plus other names and alternatives to sugar on the label. So it's like they can tell you on the label like, oh, this actually is low sugar, but then there's also these other ingredients below that are like sucralose and a bunch of other like 50 plus other alternative names to sugar that they'll add in, and that's how they hide it. And also the FDA allows for about a 20% gap where you can mess up in your numbers. So it's like these things we gotta watch out for. And my best bet, cut out the processed food, okay? When you're buying food, try your best to buy low sugar whenever it says like on the ingredients, the nutrition labels. Get in the habit of taking that second and looking at the label. Okay? You gotta care for your health. This is so important because I promise you, if you don't do it now, you're gonna be forced to pay attention to your health in the future if your health is not 100% and as good right now. I promise you, I really wanna help you out. You gotta listen right now though and take action now, because as the saying goes, if you don't change anything now, 6 months from now, 6 years from now, you're gonna be in the exact same place, if not worse, with your health. Because nothing changes unless we change, okay? So we gotta keep this in our minds. We gotta stay aware of this so we can stop these old habits and these patterns and actually make a change for ourselves. So start looking at the labels, okay? Start looking on them. I recommend try your best not to buy anything that has added sugars as well. And just sticking to whole foods as much as possible too. Things that grow from the earth and whatnot. And again, of course, have the balance. Enjoy yourself. But again, it's all about balance, okay? We don't need to be buying ourselves a Pepsi every single day and a chip bag every single day. It's like, I get it. I get why we do it. I do. There's an Irvin right there for me calling my name every day. You know, Caden, come get your 100 grams of sugar in this ice cream and whatnot. And it's, you know, I love it. But we don't need it, and I don't need to do that every single day. And honestly, if you do it every day, it takes away the satisfaction. Okay, it's like that delayed gratification. There's none of that there. We're just getting that constant hit of dopamine. Okay, maybe take a dopamine detox. Get off the phones. Get away from the bad foods and everything and whatnot, and just sit there with yourself and detox from the dopamine, because it's all around us nowadays. And delayed gratification is one of the things we need when it comes to making a permanent weight loss change. Okay, so look for the ingredients. All right. Now, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's all about just getting into the routine of things, getting into the routine of not having sugar around the house, not adding so much excess sugar into your drinks and when you're baking and the whole 9 yards. Just getting into the habit of it, and we got to stay mindful and think of this daily in order to cut that bad habit out. Okay? So, I just noticed I do have a call coming up, so I do have to go. But that is the quick train for today on sugar. Now, a quick little bullet point if you're working on sugar addictions. Number one, it might not be best to cut it out cold turkey, but make a commitment to yourself to cut it out or cut it back, because it takes about anywhere 1 to 4 weeks to actually make a transformation of your body detoxifying from sugar and removing the cravings for it. Now, the next thing is don't skip meals. Stay full, have a consistent meals throughout the day, so that way your blood sugar is not all over the place and you're not getting these massive cravings, because when we have these cravings, what happens is that we use the easiest alternative, which is sugary foods, high carbs, and unhealthy snacks. Now, the next thing, lots of water. Get lots of water into you. And lastly is, oh, no, that's everything for today. So I do have to head out here, so I hope this training was helpful. If you have any questions, comment below. If you need help, there's a link right there. Book in there, take action, see if I can help you out. And other than that, have a wonderful day. Keep crushing it.